good as we're going to get right now. Oh, man, you tricked me.
I thought you were done.
When have we ever done if my hair looks like this? Okay, in what universe is Caroline going live? Hello, everybody.
I thought maybe you were just... Let's dive into questions. So the first set of questions is all about organization, which I love this topic. Let's talk. Okay, so first of all, how do you track how many sales came from a certain email in a sequence? It was in Caroline's post-mortem discussion. So Caroline, how do you track your sales in email, from emails in a sequence? How do you keep track?
There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. My favorite way, because I'm not techie. Tracy and I have been very open about this. Neither one of us are techie people. We're just not. We have many superpowers. Technology, coding, and all of that stuff is not one of them. Yeah. I can find a code. I can read a code. But trying to get me to install a Facebook pixel was literally like pulling teeth.
Oh, yeah.
So there are ways that you can do it on the back end. I don't like to do it because it is too much work. So what I do is I just watch the sales that come in. I know what I do is watch the sales that come in on each day. It's not a perfect like formula because obviously, like, you know, if you have a 5-day sales cycle, if you have a 5-day email or a sales sequence that's going out, somebody could be opening Monday's email on Wednesday and buy from Monday's email that they opened on Wednesday. Correct. But in my head, I'm not necessarily like, I'm looking for like when that email gets sent, how many people bought that day. It's kind of more of like a generalization than anything. That's what I do, at least.
Well, it's important to remember also that you have to look at the clicks as well inside of the email. You have to make sure, like if you only have a 1% conversion rate, but you have a 25% open rate, that means nothing if you only have a 2% click rate to your sales page. So you have to look at the click rate over to your sales page as well. And I think that's something you have to keep in account because...
Yeah, that's like when I do kind of my postmortems on my sales, I will look at click rate. And like I can say if I get 700 clicks on an email, that's bad. Like I know that that's not enough. Or I could say, you know, 5 clicks is the best thing that I've ever seen. It's all dependent upon you. And so like, I don't want to give numbers necessarily, like, but you know, what's a good click rate. You know, like if you see, you know that if you see like a 25% open rate and 100 clicks, you're happy with that. You know that. So we don't want to give you guys numbers, but like you want to see like if there's anything that's abnormal. So when we talk about like looking at hard and fast numbers, we're talking about like looking at abnormalities. If you're used to seeing like 1 or 2 people unsubscribe and you have a 50 people unsubscribe from an email, that's abnormal. That's a red flag. If you're used to seeing 45% open rates, 22% open rates, whatever it is for you, and you see a 1% open rate after 48 hours, that's a red flag. You know, like those kinds of things. If you're used to seeing 100 clicks and you only saw 1, that's a red flag. So a lot of that just comes back to you having, you know, your finger on the pulse of your emails. You have to know that for yourself. Like we can't tell you like what's a good number or what's a bad number. It all kind of
relative. But the one thing nice about ConvertKit is they give you the open click or the open percentage for every single link in your email. So if you post over to your sales page on several different ways, like you have a button, you have an image, and then you have text, it helps you to see where your people are clicking. So if you only have 1 person clicking the text, but you have 47 clicking the buy button.
It can do that? Oh, if you do buttons. Yeah, if you set it up with buttons inside of the email.
Separate, yeah.
Gotcha.
And that way you can see, are they a text clicker or are they a button clicker? And if they're a button clicker, then you make sure you have a button in every single sales email. So it helps you to differentiate where they are clicking so you know what to utilize in your next set of emails.
And that's another point though. Like we've talked about like making sure that you send that 6 p.m. on the last day of your sale emails. That's really important. But another thing, making sure that you have every single image in your email with a link to it. People, we like to click images. We just do as people. I don't know why, but we do. We're conditioned via the internet to click images. Make sure that that image goes somewhere. Because seriously, like I can't tell you how many times I've gone to click on a picture because I'm a lazy butthead sometimes. And I'm like, I'm not going to look for this link. This looks pretty. Let me click on it and buy it. Is literally my thought process as I poke myself in the eyeball, apparently. So give your people a place to click. So yeah, go in and check all of your images. I'm telling you. Yeah. And then I get upset when it doesn't go anywhere. I feel that in my bones. That's exactly like my thought process is literally, ooh, this is pretty. Click. It doesn't go anywhere. And now I'm cranky, which I'm a child.
Anna wants to know, what do you do if there is an abnormally high amount of unsubscribes in one email?
You do not resend that email. You do not resend that email. That's really all that there is. There's only so much that you can do when there is an abnormally high unsubscribe rate. Like it's kind of a learning experience. That's how I look at it. Is like if you know, like where you're like, wow, everybody hated that email.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I shared her story last time. I have to tell you, there is only one email that got me an obscene amount of unsubscribes, and I never sent it again. I sent an email my first year of blogging that said Happy Thanksgiving, and the only thing inside was Happy Thanksgiving. And I got such a huge amount of unsubscribes. I've never sent an email like that ever again. And that's all you can do. You just don't resend that email. For some reason, my people did not want me to clutter up their inbox with something that had no other purpose other than a greeting. And I was like crushed. I feel like my people hate me. They don't want to know anything about me. But that I was brand new as a blogger. I didn't know. And now I know my people do not want a salutation or a greeting or whatever it is you call it about a holiday. And I've never, that's all you can do. I've never sent it since. So it's a learning experience. Like Caroline said, chalk up a note that says, you know, do not send an email like this ever again.
Yeah.
And the next time you do it, just send it differently. You don't know what your people are going to like or hate until you send something that they love or hate. Yeah.
It's a really frustrating thing because it's like, you know, you guys have definitely like seen the memes going around of like, I spent, 8 hours on this post that gets 2 page views in the entire year. But the roundup post that I did 6 years ago when I was bored and needed to put something on my blog gets me 100,000 page views. Come on. Like it makes no sense sometimes. It makes no sense. And at the end of the day, all that it is a learning experience.
Yep.
That's it. That's all we can take away from it.
Yeah, it's what you do with it. So I don't just keep sending those emails anymore. I just don't send them. I just don't. It saves me time, and I don't lose subscribers. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't lose sleep over it. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, bummer. At the same time, though, this is something kind of important. There are some emails that you will get a high unsubscribe rate, but will also have a very high percentage of people buying or emailing you back and saying like, oh my gosh, you are speaking my language. And so that's like a really, really difficult thing to balance. Every once in a while, you will hit on some pain points where you are cleaning out your list. It's like, we're going to pick on organic farming. Okay. If you're in the stance of like organic farming is the only way to go. And if you eat conventional, you're a terrible person. You should only ever eat organic. Or if you're in the stance of, I have to feed my family. I don't care if it's organic. I want to feed them healthy, whatever. If you say to that list, if you're feeding your people non-organic food, it's killing them. You're going to get rid of a lot of people very, very quickly. But at the same time, your perfect people are going to be there going, yes, girl, yes, this is exactly what I've been saying. Actually, can I just throw some money at you? And so you have to look at those numbers. It's not a black and white issue here of like, oh, this was a really, really high unsubscribed email. If you also had 10 people buy that day, and you had one person buy the day before, and the day before that was only one person, and you had 10 people buy from that email, you might be sitting on a gold mine.
I have another story to tell you. So we have a really good friend. I'm not going to mention any names. And she writes about decluttering as a mom with really young kids. And she has a blog post on there that tells her people that if you have dirty dishes that have been in the sink for a really, really long time and you just don't have the energy to wash them, get yourself a trash bag and throw them all away and start fresh with new dishes. And her people, that makes me die inside. Just the thought of doing that makes me die inside. Her people love that. Those are her people. Talk about planting your flag, you guys. She tells people to throw away their dishes and their pots and pans. She's like, you can go to the dollar store and get new for less than $20. So the stress is not worth it. Just toss that stuff out and start fresh. And her people are like, thank you for telling me I could do that. And I'm like, why would you tell them to do that?
I know. But you know what? We're not her people.
We're not her people.
So the people who are buying her course, she doesn't have one, but we're going to use this as an example. The people who would buy her course on how to throw away all your dishes every 2 days and start over fresh because you don't want to put them into the dishwasher. Like, see, Kim gets it. I almost died inside reading that. Like, yeah. Right? Her people will buy every single thing she offers. Mm-hmm. The people who are like us, who are like, no, don't you? What are you talking about? Are going to unsubscribe from the list.
If Pam was here, she'd be dying too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that like balancing act of like, if you have a high unsubscribe rate, but also have a high rate of people who are buying, I look at that as like, I need to come up with like a sexy name for it, but it's kind of like a trial by fire email. It's like a phoenix.
Oh, I like that. Trial by fire email.
It's literally like it's a cleansing fire. You're getting rid of the people who would never have bought your product anyway. And you're really staking your claim, planting your flag, saying, this is who I am. This is what I stand for right off the bat, and making sure that your people know it. Like, there's no question about it if you're her people or not. Having a high unsubscribe rate email isn't necessarily a sign to throw that email in the garbage. It might be a sign that you have actually struck gold on something, but you need to be a little bit, maybe you need to tweak it just a tiny little bit.